Hello, good day. My name is Dan Allen. I am Product Marketing Manager for Domino. I want to welcome you today to our launch event for Domino 12.0.2, and we're excited to have you today. Today, we are celebrating another milestone in the evolution and modernization of our Domino platform, and our general availability is actually November 17th today, so it's now available for download. And today you're going to get an inside look at some of the amazing new features that we've created. Some of you will probably recognize these features because our development priorities are primarily driven by customer partner input through our forums, events, and other interactions that we have. So fasten your seatbelts and get ready for Tim Clark to guide you through the webinar today. Tim is the product manager for Domino and SafeLinks. So Tim, take it away.
Thank you very much, Dan. That's really kind of you. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are joining us from today. Thank you for joining us. And it's my pleasure to be able to take you through our launch event for Domino 12.0.2 Danube. So I wanted to start today with just a brief introduction into what we do as a development team. What we do is we set a North Star for the product. As a set of product managers, we sit there and say, what is it that Domino does? What is it that it should do? And what is our, as the French would say, raison d'etre? What's our reason for being? So this is what we call our Domino North Star. This is where we are going, what we are doing, and what we're pointing towards. And as you can see here, we want Domino to be a resilient platform where you are at the intersection of security, mail, and applications, and it's built to run forever on any platform, anywhere. And now that doesn't matter if it's a public cloud, a private cloud, a distributed cloud, whatever you call it, your server under your desk, whatever, on your laptop, it's built to run there forever. And in fact, there's a great example of this just a couple of weeks ago when we were setting up some of the Domino jams that we've been doing around the world, going out and talking to our customers. I pulled in a database that somebody sent me because I'd lost it from 2002, and we put that onto my machine and it worked straight away without any changes, without any updates. It worked perfectly in 12.0.2. So that's what we mean when we say built to run forever. So we've not been standing still since HCL took over building Domino. You know that we've delivered Domino 10 for IBM. We've then delivered Domino 11. And then as you can see here, we've done Domino 12, 12.0.1, and now 12.0.2. And we've got 63 features, new features coming up in 12.0.2. We're going to show you a snapshot of those today, but you will see in total, if your maths is really quick, I'll save you the trouble. We've done 174 features across these 3 releases, and we're not stopping there. We're going further and pushing further on into the future. Just as a quick, eye test, we thought we'd show you this. This is our list of features that we're shipping across Domino, Notes, Admin, and Designer today with Domino 12.0.2. I don't expect you to be able to read that. We just wanted to show you the size of the effort that's been going into this. Oh, and on top of that, in the 3 releases, you'll see over 1,000 fixes that we've done for all sorts of things, whether that's a security thing like log2j, or whether it's a misspelling of a language button or something. There's over 1,000 fixes that have gone into those 3 releases as well. So let's get into 12.0.2. And what is coming in Domino 12.0.2? Well, we've got 3 themes for this release and some other features, otherwise we wouldn't get to 64. So we're first off talking about better looking apps. We're trying to make sure that your mail is supercharged and really, really secure. And we're absolutely trying to make sure that it's easy for you to schedule meetings across systems. Let's dig into those just a little more. So better looking apps. Domino Restyle is the ability for you to take an existing Domino application and give it a fresh, modern look and feel with just a couple of minutes and a walk through this wizard. So as you can see here, you're able to take just a couple of pages to get your app looking much, much better. I've got a video on this coming up later on, so I'm not going to stick around here for too long. I'm excited to show you the next thing. We are absolutely all about security and always have been in Domino. We are always pushing the boundaries and making sure that everything is always secure, forever. And that's no different in mail. We are making sure that our inbound and outbound mail is more secure, and we are keeping up with the modern mail technologies that are out there. And as I said, it's going to be really easy for you to schedule meetings across systems if you find yourself in a mixed environment. And we'll show you this a little later on, but don't worry, that's not all we're doing in the group scheduling or the group mail system and the group calendaring system. So, Domino itself, apps that run your business, running on a secure platform, a secure server. And yes, these really are Domino 12 product boxes that we've had made up. We're really excited about these. And I think if you look for factory tour on social media platforms, you'll see a whole bunch of people having selfies taken with these actual boxes in Milan this week. Great effort, team. I'm glad to see that people are enjoying those. So let's start with enhanced mail security. We've got some fantastic things that we want to show you about how you can now connect your Domino mail system to external places to check for viruses in file attachments, whether that's incoming or outgoing. We've got 3 databases. You can see facsimiles of their icons here. The CScan config that allows you to set up your connection to the ICAP server at the other end. We've got a CScan log that allows you as an administrator to check through what's actually happening, and a quarantine where we will put anything that we find that is flagged as malicious. So let's take a look. So here you can see that we've got the server configuration database, and you can see that we've got this all set up ready on our server. Not a problem, all good. And you'll see that we've got a lot of ICAP servers defined, which is great because you don't just have to use one server. If you've got several different servers to connect to that will allow you to do different things when you're checking your attachments, you can set them up in here. So that's a quick look at the config. You can now see that we've had a log come in. We've had an issue with this particular virus that's been found in this mail attachment. And you can see as an administrator a whole bunch of information about the technical details of what's actually happened. Not only that, we give you a button to go and find out independent external advice on what that virus is and how you might solve it. And last but not least, we're going to take you back to the quarantine and show you what happens when we find a virus. Not only do you get the log file, you can also go and take a look at the mail, and if you check on it to say, yes, I understand this is a virus, we'll take you in and show you exactly what it is, and you can then access it and do something with it yourself. So I think you'll agree that that's a really fantastic way of being able to check not only inside Domino and control that, but actually use external people to verify that your email attachments are clean and secure. And it's not just going to be email. Going forward, we should be able to give you the ability to virus scan any attachment in any data store. We've made this technology open and extensible to the rest of the Domino system. But that's not all we're doing in around security. We're also taking a look at how you authenticate into your Domino system. We've been using OAuth for a while now, and lots of people will have seen OAuth without even knowing it. We use OIDC now, and we're adding OIDC into Domino 12.0.2. That allows you to connect to external systems to use external IDs to authenticate against your Domino system. And in an enterprise, the best one of those that we've seen people using time and time again is Keycloak. So let's take a look. So using OIDC and OAuth 2, you can see here that I'm trying to log into a verse system. So this is my verse mail, the new version of webmail for notes. And I'm going through a two-step verification process against a Google account to make sure that it's me. It doesn't have to be Google, it could be anything. And now you can see that I'm into my mail file. I think you'll agree that's nice and quick and very simple. But along with the OIDC and Keycloak, we can actually sign in using any OIDC and Keycloak system. So there you saw us logging in using a different system to get into our verse. Backups. It's all very well having all of this great data, but if you can't keep it or don't know that it's secure and always there and kept for you, it's a risk. We don't want you to risk your data. We've extended the Domino backup system that we introduced in version 12. We've extended that to now be able to do Microsoft Windows VSS, virtual shadow copying. That in turn gives us an added benefit of, because Veeam backup systems and Veeam control systems use Microsoft Windows VSS, you can now use Veeam and VSS against your Domino backup control, which allows you a lot more control. And as an enterprise, you might already have Windows VSS if you're on that platform, and you might already have Veeam controlling your backups. That's fantastic news. So let's take a look at it. So here you can see us starting a backup, and we're doing that inside Veeam. So you can see here, we're using Veeam to control our backup. And in the Domino server console on the right there, you can see that the backup is starting with no console commands being issued by the administrator. In the Domino backup database, you can see that the backup is pending. And because it's taking a snapshot, it's really, really fast. It's not a case of dragging out all of your applications and your files and everything else anymore. It's really, really quick to get your backups done. So you'll see that the VSS is actually finished now. And if we go back and refresh this, you'll see that it's finished. We've got a nice little successful tick mark there in the view. Brilliant. So we can see that our snapshot is completed. We're all good. And it ran for, what was that, 0.7 of a minute? I think that's fairly quick. But a backup's absolutely zero value if you can't restore it. So here we'll be able to see us restoring those files, or some files that we backed up previously. Just make sure this is going to run. Okay, sorry about that. You can see us picking up those help files and selecting them to be restored. And what we do now is just say, okay, we're going to schedule that to run now. And you'll see in the console on the right-hand side, when we run that restore command, it's going to send that off to the Domino server, and we're going to pull back from the VSS. We're going to pull back those files and put them back on our Domino server. Just give that a second to run, and you'll see that we've got that data back. All controlled from inside the Domino backup database and using Veeam to actually control the backup against the VSS. So really painless for your Domino administrators to back up and restore their databases and make sure that everything's back. And just to prove that these things did actually come back, I think we're going to go and open one of them. Okay, so the multi-restore is completed. And you can see in the console there that we've actually got these restored. There you go. They've come back brilliantly. Good job. Okay. We know that there are a lot of things that you add to your Domino server. And one of the things that we've been adding recently is the ability for you to be able to do Nomad Web, which is the web version of the Notes client. You can do that now on the Domino server without having to install safe links or a relational database. So if you don't have skills with safe links, or you don't have skills with relational databases and you're just using Domino, we've now added a server task to Domino that does the reverse proxy piece for Nomad clients, and we've put that directly into the Domino server. So it's a really good way of getting you fast access to Nomad Web, which I'll show you in just a minute. And it gives you the ability to just have one Domino server running and making sure that you've got access to everything you might need. Let's move on to the Notes client. We were just talking about Nomad Web, and that's the Notes basic client running in a web browser. So let's dig into the Notes client itself. We're really pleased to announce that we have the 64-bit clients now for Group 1 languages, and not just for Notes, but also for Designer as well. And in the Designer section, you will see the admin client is also there for English. So these languages you can see on the right-hand side now have 64-bit clients available for them. And I talked earlier about easy meeting scheduling. Lots of companies now find themselves in merger and acquisition environments. They find themselves either acquiring a company or being acquired, and you have to end up working with your new colleagues and scheduling meetings across systems. If the systems that your other group or other company is using is Office 365 or Exchange, you can now, from inside the Notes client or from inside Verse, you're able to see the busy time of the people in the other system. So you can stop some of the scheduling conflicts that you would have seen previously. We've been finding that in HCL a fantastic time-saving mechanism because we ourselves run across 2 different mail systems. And this has been invaluable for us, saving time and effort managing meetings across teams. We've also made a raft of improvements in the Workspace. You will notice, if you've looked at the early access programs, that we've given you the ability to add backgrounds and have dark mode and light mode, and there's a bunch more configuration that you can do now around the Workspace. In fact, the one thing that I haven't shown here is that I can slide my Workspace bar on the left there across to the left and only show the colored icons. And I use that view all the time myself because I know what color icons I've given to each of the Workspace pages. So I can give myself even more screen real estate for the Workspace when I need it. Not only have we been working on messaging and busy time, we've been working on speed. And I have absolutely noticed that there's been a massive speed improvement, a real day-to-day sense of a snappiness to the Notes client in 12.0.2. In fact, when you switch from mail to something else, it does feel like it's 30% faster. It's been really impressive to see that and put that in the hands of customers and get their feedback. So you'll see that we're not just doing it across switching from mail, across the whole raft of what we do inside the Notes client, things are getting faster. We are optimizing code. We are making things work faster with new technologies behind the scenes and new calls to make things quicker. I am thrilled to bring this to you. We recognize that inside Notes, we have a Notes and Domino. We have a small problem. We have a bunch of gaps, you might say, in our functions. And one of those is that we have a group calendar deficit. The group calendar we have inside the Notes client is very basic, and in Verse it's non-existent. But when you take a look at our ideas portal, you'll see that there's over 275 ideas. Those are separate individual ideas about improving calendaring in Notes and Domino. That doesn't account for the thousands of votes that those ideas have. So what we've done is we've partnered with Ontime and Intravision actually, and Jens is on the line from Ontime with us. And we have brought to the market, we're going to give to every Domino customer that's on CCB or CEO contracts, we're going to give you the ability to have a free version, a freemium version of Ontime's Group Calendar. And the reason we've done this is we recognize that Introvision and Ontime have been around in the market for many, many years. They have fantastic functionality that it would take us just way too long to develop. So we're really pleased to partner with Jens and Lars and Martin over at Introvision and everybody else there to bring you their Ontime Group Calendar as a freemium version. So I'm really pleased to be able to tell you that from today, you are able to download this from Introvision's site. There are 2 versions available, and the first one gives you access to 25 users' rooms resources, and the other one, the one that you need a license key for, gives you access to 50 endpoints. Now, don't worry, that license key is absolutely free of charge. All you have to do is register to get it, and it will be sent back to you. It's absolutely free. We really hope that you enjoy using this. And Jens, are you there?
I'm there.
Oh,
Yeah,
good. Well,
so
yeah, you're there. That's brilliant. So, Jens, before I go to tell people how to get this, in fact, let's do that, right? So this is how you get it. If you want to find out more about the Ontime freemium version, use this QR code. We'll leave it here while Jens and I just explain to you one thing. Jens, you said to me earlier that people have already been showing interest. What's been happening?
yeah, so over the last, since we announced this at the factory tour in Chelmsford 6 weeks ago, we've had some, excluding Japan, we've had some 45 people registering their interest. We've had about 10 customers downloading over the first 5 hours today, and all of them by now have downloaded the level 2, so the one that includes the most features. And I'm so happy the first statement I got today was from Ulrich Krauser in Germany, who said that it took him exactly 5 minutes to install it and get it up and running without any issues. So I hope the rest of you will get the same experience.
Wow, that's fantastic. Just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just 5 minutes. That's fantastic. 5 minutes for 50 users of Ontime Group Calendar. If you're a small to medium business, that could well be absolutely free for you, so long as you want the freemium version and you want those features. And the freemium version with the 50 users comes with mobile, right, Jens?
It does come with the mobile. Yes, it does. So you get the desktop and you get the mobile interface. And I think the mobile interface is something that we see more and more of our users using. We got just over 50% of our customers now using a mobile interface as well. Yeah. So that's also where we're expanding a lot.
Jens, it just leaves me on behalf of the whole community to say thank you for entering into this partnership with us.
Thank you, Tim. It's an opportunity for all of us. So I'm looking forward to continuing the journey.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time, Jens. We'll catch up later on.
Yeah.
Let's move directly back into this whirlwind of information that we're going through. And it wouldn't be right to continue through this without mentioning Verse. Now, what I don't think was clear is that the Ontime Group Calendar also works with Verse as well. So good to know. In Verse, we've not been standing still either. And whilst it's not actually a direct thing that you can download against Domino, and it's not released with Domino 12.0.2, it has its own release schedule. It's worth noting that in the latest version, one of the big things that people were saying is they wanted a contact user interface. And we've managed to deliver that in the typical Verse clean, fresh, and useful style. And in fact, I had a competition with Thomas recently where we lined up Outlook and Notes and Verse, and we couldn't tell the difference between them. And this is taking Verse that step further into making it absolutely useful in a browser or in a PWA for you to be able to manage your mail and your contacts wherever you want to be. Let's skip across to Domino Designer. What's been going on there? Well, we know that we talked about this earlier. We want you to be able to restyle your applications and absolutely make them so that they look and feel very modern. We want you to be able to do that with the minimal of risk. We really, really don't want you to risk any of your data or your logic in the restyling of your apps. There's absolutely no need for you to put that in jeopardy. We want to give you choices. Absolutely want to make sure that you have as many different options as you can. And in our first release of Domino Restyle, we have given you 63 different variations of the ability to pick colors and themes. And we'll see that in just a minute. And it's absolutely quick, absolutely fast for you to do it. I was recently at a Domino Jam in Paris, and I said to one of the developers that was there, I said to him, if I were to give you let's just take a database that everybody knows, the discussion database. If I were to give you that database and say, I need you to change the colors on the background, on the outline, on every action bar, on every button, I need you to change the colors in the views so that we've got alternating rows so that it looks clean, fresh, modern, just tidy it up for me. How long might that take you? And he said to me, maybe a day, but that's a really simple database. And I went, okay, for a really simple database, it's going to take you a whole day. And then I did this demo, and I'm really hoping that this one works without me having to start it. Here we go. So this is Domino Restyle. And you will notice that when this plays, I'm in a browser. Look at that. That's a Chrome browser on a MacBook. And I'm able to do a Domino Restyle there. No client installed, just a web browser. As you can see, I've got design rights to this database, and I've just select File, Application, Restyle. I can now pick a theme, I can pick a color, and I can pick an action bar style. I think I picked dark outline, there we go. And then I'm off to the next page. In here, we can configure what happens with each different page as you get to it, where the mappings go. And here I can take away the background images and I can update the composite styling. Now, that action bar was absolutely real time. I didn't speed it up at all. And this is my new discussion database, absolutely restyled. And as you can see, all of my data is safe. It's all still there. None of my business logic is gone. So if I do this again, and I'm going to do it a little quicker this time, you'll notice that when I get back in here, all of my options were really saved behind the scenes in the database so that I don't have to think about it. But if I want to try something else, I can just do it very quickly. I don't need to change these, just pick a different style and theme and color, and off we go. It's done already. So I'm back into my database, it's been restyled, and there we are. We've had two different options in, what, less than 90 seconds, I think this video is. And we've absolutely changed that way that database looks and feels. So I think you'll agree that the restyle option is going to give people a lot of chances to move forward and bring their applications up to date and up to speed. Not only are we delivering the restyle, the design team have been very, very busy behind the scenes, working out what it is that actually we want our applications to look like. We want our templates to look like. And what they've done is they've written what any good design team would do. They've written a design guide. But Emmy and the team, thank you, Emmy, have done this in a Domino database so that we're able to share it with all of you. And very, very soon, as soon as they've finished checking all of the spelling, we'll be releasing this as a notes database through our open source community. So we'll be open sourcing this database. You'll be able to get hold of this, and you'll be able to get our best practices on how you design a notes and Domino database. Everything from icons through to typography, through to colors and backgrounds. We even give you zip files in here of images that you can use that are all open source. A fantastic resource for you to be able to go and freshen up your databases and your applications in the future. Okay, so let's talk about something really quite technical. Let's talk about Domino REST APIs. This is absolutely a brilliant thing for us. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that our Domino customers have access to their Domino data wherever you are whichever programming system or methodology that you use. So we will be releasing on the 30th of November this year the Domino REST APIs that will be available to all CCB and CEO customers and will enable you to install this against the Domino server so that you can use the programming model of your choice to get to your Domino data. And as you can see at the bottom there, we're going from around 9 REST APIs that we have currently, and we're going to take that to over 100 REST APIs that you can use to access your data in different systems. That's a fantastic increase in the ability for you to utilize your data across your business. Not only will it be allowing you access, it will absolutely be secure because we are 100% behind the security of our data and our systems. So you may have heard of this previously as Project Keep, and that's fine. That was our beta code for it. We've taken that and we've built on it and we've made it absolutely available for you, and it will be in FlexNet very, very soon at the end of this month. In fact, I think it's in about 15 days. So Domino 12.0.2, the notes client, the designer client, the admin client, all of those features that we've done and all of those fixes that we've done, how do you get hold of it? Well, for entitled customers and partners, you just need to download it from from FlexNet. It's available there now. You can go and find it depending on which bundle you have. You should see it in the latest releases. Take a picture of that QR code and that will get you to FlexNet really, really fast. But we don't want you to just go and download it. We want to help you out. So what we've done is we've been upgrading or modernizing the Domino 12.0.2 upgrade guide. And this is a fantastic resource that we've written to help you get up to Domino 12. And I looked at this yesterday to make sure that this fact was absolutely true. There is a guide in there on how to get from version 5 to version 12.0.2. And it's absolutely a one-step process. You don't have to go through release after release after release to go up, 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 up. No, you can go from version 5 to version 12 or version 12.0.2. That's entirely up to you. We would recommend absolutely that you always go to our latest release. So don't forget that we have a guide to help you, and it takes you through everything you would need to know and how to do it. It would be really bad of me to leave this webinar or move into questions without saying thank you to a whole raft of people that have made this release possible. So I'd like to thank our development teams, all of the QA testers, anyone who's done translation, all of our product management team, the release managers, support teams, and the marketing team. Dan, I didn't forget you, I promise. I just didn't want to put it on the slide and give it away. So Dan and Jan and everyone else in Melita's team, thank you very much for the support you've given us to get this release out to our customers and our partners. And lastly, we need to thank you, our customers and partners, for your continued use of our software. Without you, we wouldn't need to do this. And we're so glad that we do, because we get to give you great features that allow you to do apps that run your business. And with that, Jan, I'm really happy to take questions. And I do have a bunch of people with me. We have Thomas and Agnes and Jens. And I think Andrew Manby might be there as well, all ready for us to answer your questions on the Domino 12.0.2 Danube release.
That's great. We've had a lot of questions come in, and I think Thomas is going to take the lead here and walk through them and read them out loud for all to hear the answers.
Yeah, hi everybody, and greetings from Milan in Italy. We're live at the factory tour at our HCL offices, so greetings to all of you all around the globe. Thank you, Tim, for having done this webcast while we were here busy with stuff. Now, in the room, we have the product management team. We have Jens from Ontime, and we already tried to answer a couple of questions, but I think a few of them are worth being called out here for the recording. The most simple one was the first one, actually. Is this session going to be recorded? Maybe Jen, maybe can you confirm that we will make the recording available?
Yes,
Kenny?
indeed. The recording of this will be available about an hour after this session is over. If you just go back to the same link you went to register, you'll find it sitting right there for you.
All right, thanks for that. I'm just randomly picking those questions that I think need to be repeated. A couple of people have asked, what about Project Keep? And Tim covered it already in one of the slides at the end. So release date for what was called Project Keep, now being called the Domino REST APIs, is scheduled to be November 30th. So stay tuned for that. Then there was a question about what about HEI, HCL Enterprise Integrator? What about that? Tim, I guess that's for me to cover, right?
Well, it is for you to cover because you are the product manager for that. But yes, we are releasing Enterprise Integrator, HCL Enterprise Integrator in this release. It is there as part of the download files that you can get from 12.0.2.
Definitely it is. A lot of people were asking about the 64-bit client, whether you must install it over the existing client or not. I think like 5 people asked the same question. And the recommendation here is to, when you go from a 32-bit nodes client to a 64-bit client, to uninstall and reinstall the client. Not only is it faster, but also you're going to get a clean installation. The data, your data directory will be kept even though you uninstall the product. The data directory will not be touched.
And included in the download, Thomas, don't forget that we have the nice tool to uninstall it. Okay, so there is that tool available to download.
Sorry, I'm just more and more questions coming in, so I'm having a hard time scrolling back and forth.
So while you're reading that, I also want to point out that we did get a request to join the beta program, join the early access program. We got a request to ask if it would be possible to upgrade the Notes Peak tool to be 64-bit, and that absolutely has been done. And yes, we are releasing Notes Peak 64 along with the 12.0.2. So for all of you designers and developers out there, yes, you can get to this on 64-bit Windows now.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Tim, here's a question for you that's about Restyle. Maybe we haven't been clear enough. The question is, does Restyle work with Domino on premises, or does it only work with Nomad on web? And I think there are 2 questions kind of that we have to answer in here.
Yeah,
First one,
absolutely. And you're probably right. I probably wasn't clear enough, so I apologize for that. Yes, it works with the Notes client, whether that's Mac or Windows. You can do it in either. And it also works in Nomad Web in any browser that you can get Nomad Web to work in. So you have 2 options. You can either do it in the client or you can do it from the Nomad Web option. The reason I did the Nomad Web option for my demo was to show you Nomad Web, because I don't think everyone's seen Nomad Web. So that's the reason I picked that one.
Mm-hmm. And I think need to make it clear that Nomad Web means it's a browser that you use, but the server that you are accessing is, of course, your own Domino server on-prem or wherever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Here's one question for Jens, which is, what about Ontime Freemium for customers who run on the, what is it, Collaboration Express license?
Right. So the current state of this is that the discussion we've had and the agreement we've made with HCL is that this is targeted at CCP, and I think Tim mentioned CEO as well. So there is no current plan to support Collaboration Express. If that covers it.
Well, crisp and clear.
Yeah.
Yep. However, we probably should display the QR code again, or at least in our blog post, point out the URL where to go to download Ontime. Let me go further. Restyle question again. Does Restyle also work with web-based Domino applications, meaning that's the way I understand it, does it also provide a new look and feel to Domino applications that were developed for a browser client?
So it depends on how you've done that development. Restyle at the moment only affects pages, outlines, forms, views, buttons, action bars. I think that's it. It doesn't affect anything to do with X pages currently. But if that is something that you want, I would recommend wholeheartedly that you go and put that idea into our AHA Ideas portal. If you go and do that under Domino Designer, you will find that there is a category for Restyle. So anything you want Restyle to be able to do, make sure that you go and put it in the AHA portal, because as product managers, we do absolutely go and look there for what are the things that our customers are asking for. I think, Thomas, you'll attest to that. We spend a lot of time in AHA making sure that we're doing what our customers are asking for.
Okay, thanks. Now let's pick this one here. That might be a question for Agnes, actually. In version 12.0.2, and I think this is about the online meeting integration that we have delivered. Is it possible for an assistant to add an online meeting with the online meeting information from another person's calendar when scheduling a meeting? I guess it's like delegation of online meeting credentials.
Yes, that's I think you're right. So we did add this feature to our dynamic release. So with this release, assistant will be able to access their mail file, the mail file owner credential, and then do the scheduling on behalf of the mail file owner. So yes, the answer to be in short is that yes, it is supported with this dynamic release.
Hey, that's good news. That one's covered then. So we had that question. Let me, where was this one? That's a question for the Domino REST APIs, maybe a bit technical. Is there any way for us to install Keep, meaning the Domino REST APIs, on Domino if we do not use a container or containers?
So the way that we are delivering Domino REST APIs in the first instance, and I'm not aware of this planning to change, I hope Adam will let me know if it is that we are delivering them as a Docker container. I don't know what the plans are actually, because we'd have to have Adam Gartenberg answer that. So what we'll do is we'll make sure that we get that question answered. But right now, it is just a Docker container that we're delivering this as.
But we'll do, or I think Adam is doing another webcast on the release of Keep later this month. So we'll have to forward this question to him and make sure that he's covering it in his blog post, so that at least we'll get back on this question.
Good plan.
All right. Oh, standard here. Is it best practice to install Nomad on an existing Domino server or a separate server? Well, the choice is yours. I would say, let me pick the answer, or let me try to answer that question directly myself. We are providing you with the option to install Nomad, the Nomad server directly on your Domino server. And you can very well use an existing server, put this additional workload on the machine, but of course the sizing of your environment is under your control. So we do not know if the server is at its capacity limits or not. I think in order to do the first tests and the first learning what Nomad Web provides you with, it would be wise to run a test environment before going straight into production. But of course, Nomad Web itself is meant to be installed directly on not only one server in your environment, but actually any server in your environment, so that your users can just take a web browser and hit any Domino server to use the Nomad Web experience, and then open applications from just any other server, or the same or any other server in the environment. So that will work.
I think it's also worth at this point, Thomas, mentioning that the point of the Nomad server task is that it's taking that HTTP traffic that's being sent from the Nomad client once it's installed in the browser, and that's all going over secured transport to and from that browser client, the Nomad Web client, and that's going via NRPC. So it's going via the normal protocol that Notes would have used if you'd installed a client. So it's tunneling through your web connection with the Notes protocols. So that should, it shouldn't be too onerous on the server to deal with those calls because it's used to calling them. It's just another client connecting at that point. So the load shouldn't be too bad once you've downloaded the client and installed it in the browser. And there's nothing actually for the user to do. They just log in and it installs it for them in the browser and then runs at that point. So when they go back and connect again, it's really, really fast. So I would recommend you try it out and know that it's absolutely secure because we're using the Notes remote procedure calls, the NRPC, from the Nomad Web client to the server. So your server shouldn't see too much load increase apart from people downloading the client when they first start.
Thanks for that, Tim. Another FlexNet question. Someone named Carsten, hi Carsten, by the way, asked if Nomad Web is available for download as well. Couldn't find it on FlexNet. So where would anyone find the Nomad Web downloads? Sorry for the background noise. We have quite a few people over here. Oh, Tim, hope we didn't lose you, but I thought you would make a comment saying for Nomad Web, there is an additional product category in FlexNet. So the Nomad Web download is not the Domino server download. You have to go into another category called Nomad Web, and this is where it is with a release date of September. So go download and feel free to use it. Tim, do we have you back? Do we have you back online?
Yeah, sorry, I managed to lose my audio connection. I don't know how. So it's back now. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you again.
Fantastic.
The interesting thing is
right,
for one question that we answer, we get 5 new questions in the backlog. You guys out there are awesome. It's just amazing.
It's good that we have 10 minutes left then.
Oh yeah, let me try to speed up here. We may not be able to cover all questions, but we'll try to, we will save this question log and we'll post a blog with all of our answers so you can definitely get your question answered. So let's pick a few more. Restyle, again, will restyled applications work in earlier versions of Domino/Notes?
Absolutely. They absolutely should do, because all we're doing is it's as if you've got a bot doing your color changes for you and removing background images and stuff like that from your navigators and your outlines. So it's as if you've got a real Domino designer going in and changing all the colors, but it's a machine, so it's just a lot faster, which is why we can do it in seconds rather than days. So they should absolutely work in previous versions. We're not doing anything. We're not adding anything to the template or anything like that. We're just changing color options at the moment.
Maybe slightly related. Is there any overlap between Restyle and policies to control the user interface? That's a bit hard to answer, I would say, because Restyle will change the application design, whereas policies is a way to manage the Notes client and control its behavior. But policies do not change the application design. So I hope that's at least an acceptable comment to make.
Well, maybe the person who asked that question might want to add a supplementary question that we can find later on to clarify the requirement.
Yep. Okay, here's another question. Can Domino Designer 12.0.2 be used or work on or against a 12.0.1 Domino server?
Absolutely, yes. That's not a problem. Lots of people upgrade their Domino Designer clients. That should be fine. I don't see anything in this release that should stop you doing that at all.
Okay. Speaking of which, upgrades, here is a question from a customer that is running version 9.0.1 FixPack 10, and they want to upgrade. The question is, can we upgrade directly to 12.0.2, or do we need to take any steps in between, or need to go to any other version first and then to 12.0.2?
Well, to answer that, I would recommend that the person downloads this upgrade guide, because the answer to that question is actually in this guide. The answer is yes, you should be able to. However, we would always recommend taking a few precautionary steps along the way. Things like making sure you've got backups, making sure you've tested some of your key applications in the new version in a test environment before you actually commit this to live. There's a whole good set of checkpoints in this upgrade guide that you should consider before you actually go and do that in production. But I would say, yes, you should be able to go direct once you've tested it and make sure that you're comfortable that it's going to work in your environment, in your scenario.
Thanks, Tim. Let me scroll down because we really cannot cover all questions here. Small one. Quick question regarding the Domino configuration tuner, which was around in earlier versions. Is there any plan for HCL to continue DCT? And Tim, I hope you don't mind if I'm taking that one.
Of course, carry on.
Yeah, the answer is yes, we'd like to continue DCT. We just did a few updates to it so that it runs well with a Domino 12 server. However, the rule set behind needs to be modernized, and we'd like to invest in that tool in our product in a way that you always will get the most current, the best configuration for your environment. The idea is the idea in the Domino configuration tuner was that an administrator had to click a button to retrieve recommended configurations and then run it against your servers. But it was always the same rule set against all your servers without even knowing whether that's a mail server, an app server, a hub server, an SMTP server, or whatever. And in the future, we would like to make sure that we can make recommendations for your specific server use case, for your specific environment. And we want to make those recommendations without you needing to click a button. So we want to tell you that, hey, by the way, there is a setting which is now recommended to be different, and that's about to come. However, that's not in the 12.0.2 release that we are shipping today. Let me, oh God, there's another page of questions coming in. Yeah,
is it possible after this webinar?
I am afraid we are, but that's good. That's good.
That's fantastic.
Really, guys, you're great. Authentication, security authentication, because you presented OIDC to be an authentication method. Hey, is it possible to use pass keys, aka UB keys? These are like small little USB keys that you can use for FIDO2 authentication with 12.0.2 for authentication.
I'm going to let you answer that, Thomas.
Yeah, I'm the YubiKey supporter here. No, currently it is. Yeah, currently it is not possible, but I am going to tell you we are working on that. So we would like to introduce support for FIDO2/WebAuthn in the future, which means you will be able to use YubiKeys for authenticating with Domino.
Cool.
Hope you're going to like it. Oh, what about time? Jens is giving
left, Thomas, so need to crack on.
Yeah, yes. Crack on.
Two more questions, I think.
What's a hard one? These are just comments. Oh my God.
I'm glad you're picking the hard ones.
Yeah, it's hard, because you have to understand the text first and then phrase the question on a large webinar like this. Is there a documentation on how to add Google Meet to the online meeting provider in Domi? I think that question would go to Agnes. Do we have any documentation on how to add Google Meet?
So currently Domi doesn't support Google Meet, and I think that may be if that is something you're interested in, please submit an aha idea and let us know that what meeting vendors that you would want us to support. It can be Google Meet or it can be something else. So just submit an aha idea. Thank you.
Another comment that I would like to add to this one is the online meeting integration is done in the mail template.
Yep.
The mail template, you can look at our source code, you can see what we are doing behind the scenes. And if you know the APIs of the online meeting service, then of course you can add your own. We know customers that have just changed the mail template to include their own meeting service that they run, and it just works fine.
Yeah, or you can take a look of our open source.
And the open source project as well.
Yes, yeah. So we introduced Domi as a feature, but before that, we actually put it out as an open source. So if you're interested to implement that on your own, you can take a look at that. We can send that link out for reference after this webinar.
Thank you. And the last question is, oh, come on, let's do this one here.
Make it a quick one, Thomas, because we're almost out of time, literally seconds to go.
Will Nomad Web work if we are currently only on Domino 10.0.1? No, you need to have a Domino server on version 12.0.2, but any other Domino server in your environment can technically be on a lower release. So you have like the Domino 12.0.2 server to go to, and then you can connect to other servers in downstream releases, and that will work. Prerequisite is an email, but for more details, please see the documentation. Tim, it's the top of the hour, and I need to close the Q&A session. I'd like to turn the mic back to you for some closing words.
I would just like to thank everyone who's been involved in this release, again, for making it happen and getting it out the door. We hope you, as our customers and partners, really get the benefit from this. We are absolutely thrilled to see your feedback, and we can't wait to see you at one of the Domino Jams or factory tours that are coming up around the world. Thank you very much for your time and attention today. We look forward to seeing you all soon, and please enjoy our software.